Thank you. I'll try to live up to that. That's hard. So I've been coming to Lighthouse, I think, for close to 14 years now, and practicing writing poems, and just decided that I had enough that I ought to make them into a book. So I started talking to people, and this is what came out of it. So this is a collection, really, from, I guess, almost 14 years of writing. First one is, is there a way to, can you hear me okay? Like this? Is that good? Mm-hmm. This one's called Before. There was a golden age just before you were born, when things ran along smoothly for most, and the pie was warm and fragrant. There were terrible wars as well as injustices that are hard to understand. Crazy people, as is their wont, obtained power in dangerous places, and many others felt afraid. Awful storms rent some cities, and plagues rampaged among the innocents. Pious hypocrites offered their truths and found many anxious buyers. Some gave up, others gave in. A few fought hard and hoped. Some nights were clear and cool, and the stars shone down. This is one of several poems that I wrote with my grandson in mind. He's now a junior in college, which is hard to believe, but 14 years ago he wasn't. So. This is called For Example. Don't drive like Grandpa. He's an idiot behind the wheel. He becomes like all the other idiots, preoccupied with matters of minor urgency, self-righteous and indignant at the idiocy all around. He tends to swear at idiot drivers who refuse the logic of turn signal, who change lanes as though lane lines were mere suggestions. Occasionally he's penitent at the glimpse in a rear view, and he doesn't text, it's true, but he finds it nearly impossible not to look when a message comes through. He hurries sometimes just because everyone else is, so frantic to get there a few minutes sooner than not, as though their life depended on it, which, sad to say, it sometimes does. He'd like to be more centered when he drives, just focused on the job at hand, avoiding all the other idiots. Sometimes he succeeds. This is called Just a Moment, and it's subtitled Iowa City. I was there for a summer program at the university. Turn into the steepening slope, spin with gathered speed, until you see your stories strewn, scattered on the sinuous path from psilocybin to psyllium. Rise on father's achy knees, hear the aging groans within. Back there, the raveled road is bound by choices made. Doors not chosen stand mute. Attend with smirking salute your gimpy parade. I'm going to read a couple of newer poems. This one's called Making Sense. When I was young, I liked the Catholic High Mass with its organ music and incense, stained glass, and people dressed up and solemn. Better incense came later, on crisp fall evenings, early dark, when Dad would rake up fallen leaves, and like other neighborhood dads, light a small fire out on the curb. Oh, I know now it was bad for us breathing those fragrant vapors, but the chill blue air back then took on a magical scent of oaks and elms and maples returning to the dance. This was the last one I want to read I want to read one newer poem because the people in the class that I just took demanded that I do it. But this is the last one from the book. It's called Snow Over Ice. It looks like sure footing ahead, But for those who've been around this way before, who know this snow is not the year's first, who know a few warm days have intervened, there are slippery mysteries below. On a sunny day after new fallen snow, the air so bright it hurts the eyes, an unmindful step on frosted ice can send the unwary walker sprawling, still marveling at pristine air, transfixed by a single snowflake fallen from blue sky. Through the slow motion spiral to earth, all the while monitoring the body part checklist. Where do friends go when they die? They say they live in memory. To say they live in memory is small comfort, and like many elegant metaphysical explanations, I hope through my doubt that it's true, that eternal being is black ice and consciousness a dusting of recent snow for us to slide on for a while. Thank you. So I just took a class with John Brehm, one of the amazing teachers that I've had here at the time at Lighthouse. And it was the poetry of Frank O'Hara was the subject. So we were all supposed to try to incorporate something of Frank O'Hara's spirit in our poems, not to exactly copy them, but to sort of keep that spirit going. And so this is called Missing Henry. It's summer and Litfest at Lighthouse again, so I'll have to choose, this time between Shakespeare, whom of course I love, especially when guided by Rothman's enthusiasms. But Frank O'Hara with John proves irresistible. And it's rather like homecoming or summer camp with all the familiar faces. And this time my book is on the shelf in the tent, and I go look at it, perhaps too often. And the class is great, except Henry isn't there, even though we moved to the first floor, which is relatively more accessible. But I hear he has Parkinson's or something, and it's not so easy to get around, which seems to be happening to more and more people as I get older. Not Parkinson's necessarily, but other things. And some of my friends have died already, Bob and Steve a while back, and then a couple of years ago my cousin Bob, who's only 3 weeks older than me, except now I've passed him by. Still other hearts and brains and lungs aren't holding up so well over time, and it puts my little aches and pains in perspective, which frankly doesn't make my thumbs and feet hurt any less. And it just occurred to me that I'm the only man in this class, well, except John, but he's our leader, and a white man to boot, which I hear now means I'm privileged, which I certainly am, but I'm not sure what to do about it, if anything, except keep on shining like the sun said in O'Hara's poem about Fire Island that day he helped a kid not drown. Thank you. Who would like to go next?
I think it's going to be Kirsten next.
I